Nice, isn't it?
Yeah. Really nice.
Is it in Iceland?
I believe it is. Yes.
Wow.
Hang on a sec. I can't see it. I can't scroll down, people. So I've got Faye, Pam, Sue, Louise, Andy, Bella. I can't see everyone when I put this on.
I think you're limited to 5 people when you're
Yeah.
presenting.
Put it on. Okay, so I'll leave you on so that you can speak until we do an exercise. Okay. So this is number 6. I found this picture because it really reminds me of where I go in my head when we go on some of our journeys and we end up at the sea, or we've come through the ravine or the cliffs or the caves. It's just nice to have all these visuals. So that's one of my peaceful places in my mind, and where we've come on our journey. So just a recap of what we've been through. So if anyone wants to ask a question at any point, then just ask away. So we've done the ascension chakras, so you've got those. It's worth getting the cards at some point because they are kind of energetically imprinted with the sacred geometry on the cards of the ascension ones as well. That's David Essery. I haven't got them in front of me, but they're the pictures, and they've got the sacred geometry on the back of the card. So they're quite nice to get as well, so that you can just easily meditate. So just practice your ascension chakras just so that gets quicker and quicker, because again, creating a habit for going into meditation, your brain, the habit brain, knows what you're doing, and it already starts to switch you into that consciousness and into that more the supramental mind that we talked about last time, into your higher consciousness, so that you can connect easier because it's quicker to have a habit. Obviously we've been doing the healing, and it doesn't matter which modality you're doing, we can bring them all in. Limiting beliefs, we've worked on those. You can use any limiting beliefs and wrap around a meditation and record yourself doing a meditation, or get together with me or one of the others and practice that, especially if you're going to think about having a group of people yourself that you're going to do meditations and stuff to. You can adapt a meditation to anything, basically. Have a topic and then you wrap your meditation around it. And we've talked about the guides, and you will all have guides coming forward, and you'll have things that you're tuned into more, and sometimes they change, and sometimes you'll have the same guides turn up. I tend to think from research and from my own experience, they change when you're kind of ready for the next part of your journey. So kind of an upgrade. It's not necessarily better than, it's just the next bit that you need to know and then to share to other people. Meditation and prayer, mantra we'll call it, just so that Louise doesn't start twitching. prayer.
Full an exorcist. Cherry.
Yes.
Sorry.
Bring in Cherry. Star beings or star seeds. We're all star seeds, but we tend to call the ones that are out there star beings or star seeds. So we've talked about the Arcturians, the Sirians, Pleiadians. For those of you who've done Rahani, there's some of that in your manuals, and obviously you can go off and research other places. I would suggest you try other search engines as well, because Google and Amazon are having a bit of a book burning situation at the minute, where they're taking things out of circulation that they deem that they don't want people to necessarily tune into. The same with Gaia TV. They are trying to look at taking that down. So that it's
my
more...
subscription, actually.
Pardon?
I've just cancelled my subscription, actually, from Gaia TV.
Gaia, have you?
Yeah. Well, because I just, as soon as these kind of people start messing with that, that sort of consciousness area, it's just not the same. I think they sully it.
No, I think it's still owned by the right people at the minute, and it's the content is still very Gaia TV. You'll know when it's kind of changed, but so it might not happen. But just really my point was, don't just search on Google, because they're censoring everything, and it's not necessarily that you want to go looking at things that are uncensored as a bad thing, but there are other things that some people think are not all right to get into, and it's perfectly fine, because it's talking about angels, guides and things like that. You just sometimes have to go on DuckDuckGo or another search engine to find alternative stuff, let's call it. So we've got the subtle senses, so the intuitive senses of your touch, taste, sight, sound and smell, that kind of knowing and feeling that you have in your senses. So remember to always put your protection in and your grounding, that's really important. The I am, the ownership of stuff, to make sure that you're not I aming inside your head or outwardly and owning things that are not the right vibration for you. So that self-talk and the limiting beliefs that we put on ourselves is probably the voice that you need to keep an eye on. I am not good enough. I am blah, blah, blah. So try and make those a bit more empowering. So the threefold challenge, we talked about that just now. If you're having a problem, I had a friend who's sort of spiritual, but she's not really into learning about it. And I told her ages ago what to do when she gets visitors. She gets visited, but she doesn't want to do any of it. So I reminded her, and she texted me back and said that worked. So thank you. So thank you, Cherry. Levels of consciousness that we did last week. So you've got the physical, the vital body, or the energy bodies, the mental, mind, body, supramental, and then the bliss body and the aha moments that happen. Remembering to practice discernment. So that is, discernment is thinking about what feels right for you, that knowing that truth. So we're in a time now of truth and knowingness, and not in hope and faith. We're moving now into our knowing. So again, it's that, does something feel expansive? That yes, it's for me. Or if it feels contracting, or somebody's energy's off for you, doesn't necessarily mean there's anything wrong with them, but they're maybe not for you. It's not the right energy for you at this moment. So you just tend to trust your instincts more. The more you do this work, the more easily that comes. Even if someone shares an article to you and says, read this, I always feel it first, and I think no. Or if I get past a book, I'll know whether I want to read it or not. I tend to trust that more and more now. Taking responsibility for ourselves. If you're feeling an emotion, that's your stuff. That's your reaction to someone else's behaviour. You can then choose to react or respond. It's better to pause and own what's yours. Even if somebody else has been a pain, or maybe not thought about what they've said, you can still choose how to respond, and you can still look at why you're triggered. What does that behaviour that they brought to you remind you of? Someone in your past, something in your childhood. So just remembering that you have to own some of your stuff and actually take responsibility, simply because you're able to change your own behaviour and not anyone else's. And if the energy is not right for you, then you just detach yourself from it. You can actually in your head cut cords to the behaviour, if not to the person, but to the behaviour, so that changes the energy around it. Remembering the Schumann resonance, that connection into the earth. That's why it's important to be in nature, as we can't get out so much at the moment. Well, we can, people are not counting, but a lot of us are working indoors at home. It's just find other ways to ground. If you haven't got an earthing card, then you're finding other ways to stay grounded and in touch with nature. Have plants and stuff in your house instead, and flowers, and a nice view out the window, maybe some pot plants, anything like that kind of reminds you of the nature of what we are. Anything that mitigates interference, some plants as well clear the air, cleanse the air. So there are air purifying house plants that you can buy too. So that's always worth looking into. So it's not just having gadgets, it's all sorts of things help with that. And we talked last time about all the different minds and bodies. Learning to have confidence, which all of us, I'll include myself in that, have grown in confidence over the last few years, just being together as a group and working on ourselves and other things that we've been into. I think we can all agree that we've all raised our vibration and we're ready to fly. So this particularly nice picture, I was talking to Faye the other day about Jonathan Livingston Seagull, the book. Has anyone else read that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Long time
lovely,
ago.
isn't it? He just dared to be different. It's a small book. It's just a really nice story about a seagull that felt different from everybody else, and he just decided to just be him and keep going. It's just a little short inspirational story, but I thought that was lovely. I read that when I was younger, and then when I was an adult. It's just a nice thing to keep in mind. It's okay to be different. So your tools, we've got all sorts of tools now. So you've got your inner critic, that's the biggest teacher. So when you're doing your I ams or the limiting beliefs that you put on yourself, you write them down, you work on it so that you notice when they pop up. You've got mindfulness habits. I'll do an exercise with you in a minute, and why they work. Accessing your higher self and the habit of the subtle senses. So that is using your senses to go in and out. Reframing things, so knowing that you are looking at something from your own perspective, trying on what it looks like from the other person's perspective, or try zooming out and imagine you're looking at a situation from another perspective as if it's not you. So it's always kind of trying to zoom out and look at the bigger picture and reframe something. So each time that we shift our awareness of perception, it surfaces stuff and it just clears. It clears itself. It's just even having a curiosity around it just changes the nature of taking you down a rabbit hole into a lower vibrational emotion. Accessing the strengths within you. So we're not always just clearing weaknesses or low vibrational stuff. You can actually meditate to tune into the strengths that you know you have. Because if you tune into strengths, that's going to make the rest of your bodies feel energized and well anyway. Or surround yourself with the people where you complement each other with your strengths, or where something where you need energy from someone else, you can know how you kind of fit together with some people. I was talking to a few of you about human design. It's another way of doing something similar to having your astrology chart done, and it gives you a kind of person type. So I'm a projector. I'm meant to wait for an invite for things, whereas I tend to forge ahead, and then I'm not really sure whether people want me there because I've just bossied my way in. Whereas waiting for the invite for me as a projector feels more nourishing because I actually turned up to do something and I'm wanted there. It feels completely different. So I've spent time now working on waiting for the invite, and I do get invites to do things, and then it's just like, oh wow, I waited, and that feels better. Some people, like Faye, you know, you won't mind me saying, you're a manifesting generator, so you're like a little go and then probably go and then go. So there are different people types. So for me, it's good for me to be around other people, but not necessarily fully involved always. So even just for me, people watching a cafe kind of brings me energy, but I don't want to be in the thick of a crazy party, for example. So it's just kind of finding out about yourself in lots of different ways. If you put human design in a search engine, then there are sites that do a little free reading and they will tell you what your human design is. It's quite interesting just to have another angle. It fits with Valerie's soul contract reading, it fits with the astrology, it all kind of ties in. It's just really, really interesting. And I have got somebody, Melanie, who's done a tarot reading practice for some of you. Her partner does human design, Ted, he's lovely. So he's going to come along and do a talk to us one day. So the expansive and contracting, I'm going to do an exercise in a moment. Using tools to channel. So there's active channeling and there's passive channeling. So active is using your tools like your cards, pictures, colours, tuning into tarot, all sorts of things that you would access in a kind of active way. Passive channeling is where you've gone and had a nice long bath, or you've woken up in the morning and it's just come to you, or you'll sit and tune in and wait for something to kind of turn up. So there's different ways of channeling. Most people using cards, like mediums and things, they use tarot or palm reading or things like that, really just to tune in. It helps them get in focus, and then the cards start telling the person's story, but it's really just a way of tuning in. Turning inward, looking at your own stuff, because that you have, you know, the capacity to change. Being actively creative in every sense, and I mean have things around you at home for your touch, taste, sight, sound and smell. Comforting things that look beautiful, nice colours, nice smells, food that's colourful, tasty. Have a space in your house that is like a little sanctuary, a corner where you've got your crystal grid and your angels, and I've got that in by my bed. It's really nice, a little tabletop with all my special things on it. Using your crystals and sacred geometry, and I'm not trained in crystal therapy, but you can learn about the crystals that you've got and work with them. Don't just leave them getting dusty on the shelf. Pick them up, make sure you cleanse them, put them outside in the new moon, set intentions, cleanse them in a full moon. Pick a crystal, find out about it, do a meditation, work with your crystal there and see if you can channel working with your crystals, or pick a sacred geometry pattern and see if you can channel using some sacred geometry. So there's all sorts of different ways that you can tune in. Training your brain. I'm going to do a funny exercise in a minute. Playing with your senses, different habits and different exercises. So again, we'll look at that in a second. So let me just actually, can you all mute yourselves, because it saves me having to stop sharing. I'm going to leave the screen. Can you hear me? I haven't muted myself, have I? So I'm going to leave the screen on like this for a minute so that I can see all of you. Because at the moment, that's it. I can't see you all. Okay, so the mindfulness habits, this is stuff that some of you have heard over and over. I'm going to say it again. Simple stuff like get up in the morning, get out of bed a different side, do something different first, drink out of a different cup, not your special one always, sit in a different seat with a different view, drive to work a different way, sit in a different seat to watch the TV, change your room around occasionally, put your special things somewhere else. It's just so that you're actively engaged with your senses of creating things that you have to pay attention to, so that your inner critic and your chattered mind that goes down the rabbit holes doesn't just go on creating the same old habits because it's been left unchecked. So you don't even have to create extra time. You just need to change your day about a little bit and do things slightly different. It's really easy. And that's something as well, actually, that Joe Dispenza with his training your brain, he advocates that too. The other thing is, when you have a shower, be in your shower or your bath with your senses for a little while. Smell it, taste it, touch it, feel it on your head, your tummy, your back. Visualize colours, smells. Your mind will wander off, bring it back. Your mind will wander off, bring it back. Your mind will wander off, bring it back. The pauses get bigger the more you practice that. And you only have to do an exercise, say every day for a few weeks, for you to build a new neural pathway and you have a new habit. Then your brain, the habit brain in your head, when you're getting in the shower, it knows that it changes you out of fight or flight, or you go into rest and digest and healing mode and being really present to the moment, and it already starts changing your chemistry before you've even started doing the exercise, because the shower is the trigger for the neural pathway to activate that habit. And then you don't have to actively put it in over and over and over. If your mind keeps wandering off and you're bringing it back, this wandering off, bringing it back, it's still a good thing, because it's interrupted something that could have turned into a great big story and a great big emotion. So even if you put a spoke in the wheel, it stays like a little snowball running down a hill and not a massive avalanche. So it's just remembering all the really simple stuff. That's like really basic mindfulness that is really, really simple, and it works the best out of all of the kind of techniques that there are. So I want you to just shut your eyes for a minute. So I'm going to go into one exercise and then straight into another. And I just want you to imagine that you are getting in the shower. So you put the water on and you've stood in the shower, and you can feel the heat of the water on your head. There's a smell to it and a taste to it. What can you hear? What does it feel like on your back? What can you see? What does your soap smell like that you use? And the feel of your sponge on your body. I'm going to leave you for a couple of minutes to wander around those senses on your own. And I keep reminding you to bring your mind back to your shower. So just go through each sense. Think about how you have a shower. If you've wandered, bring your mind back to your shower. 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 Okay, so it's just imagine you've finished your shower now, you come out, you get dry and dressed. So just going to take you straight into another exercise now while you're still calm and relaxed. And in your mind or out loud, my name is Bob. My name is Sally. So my name is Bob again. Does it feel expansive or contracted? My name is Bob. Now using your own name, my name is, and say your own name. And see if that feels expansive or contracted. I like sleep. How does that feel? Expansive, heart opening. I like sleep. I like fish. I like meat. I am 12. I am loving. And then just bring yourselves back. Take yourselves off mute for a minute. Hopefully I didn't lose anyone. Yeah, Mandy's awake. See your head appearing, Mandy. So how many people managed to stay in the shower without being reminded to come back to your shower?
Yeah, but it was a bath, if that was all right.
That's fine.
To be in my bath, that was not a problem.
Did you stay in it the whole time?
Yeah, oh yeah, I know how it feels. It's very familiar.
So whose mind wandered and had to be reminded to come back to your shower?
Once.
Yeah,
Only once.
that's good. Only once. Brilliant. So you're already practiced. If we'd have done this like a year ago or something, then it would have been every few seconds you'd have been thinking about all sorts of different stuff. It's quite difficult to actually focus your mind in one space. So it's a good exercise to do, but it's already got easier for some of you, so that's brilliant. How did the expansive and contracting feel? So I like meat. For some of you would have been totally okay, and others it would have been really contracting. Yeah. Did you all feel the difference between an opening and a closing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much, yeah.
That's how you use your senses in that immediate instant that you know whether something's for you or not. That's the very first thing when you go on a body talk course that they teach you is your yeses and nos, is whether it feels like an opening or a closing, whether it's a yes or a no. So it's just practicing that kind of feeling of, and we all know that what happens is that we'll engage instantly in our right-brained senses of whether something feels right. Our sense of smell goes first. That's our primary instinct of survival. And then very quickly, like not even 2 seconds later, your sabotage brains come in, and then you start second guessing and questioning, and I should do that, and maybe no, I feel like it's my duty, or no, I don't want to upset someone's feelings, la 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 la. And you've completely sidelined your own feelings, where you knew in that instant how you felt. If you were having to ring up a friend to ask, or I'm not really sure what to do, you already know the answer because you wouldn't be questioning it. So if
The first one is always the right one.
Yeah, you've got to trust that we're in that phase now of truth and knowing and discerning what's right for us or not. That's how we're navigating now. There isn't any time really for all the fannying around, to want of a better word. Go for the jugular. Right, let's share again. It's one of my favorite pictures of Metatron's cube. Okay, so we've done those exercises and we're going to go on to Okay, I'll leave this screen like this actually, so that I can kind of toggle through you. But I want you all to say out loud the colours of those colours there on the left hand side.
So you want us to say
The colour, not
the
the
colour and not the word.
Oh, say the colour, not the word.
Yeah.
Yellow.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Do we say it out loud or in our head? That's going to be messy.
Yeah.
All right, say, or
Let's
actually
say one, two.
pop yourselves on mute and say it out loud.
Finished.
Did you get them all right?
Yep,
Well done.
I'm used to this now.
How's everyone else doing?
I had to do it slowly.
To get a rhythm going.
It gets easier, doesn't it?
Gets easier as you do it, yeah. So that's something, if you want to get into your using both sides of your brain, even if you're all over the place, you can tune your brain in. Just you want to use your intuition for something, just tune it in, simple exercise like that. So you get that kind of crossover going on. So it's you're having to really focus on something and gets you back in the zone of left and right brain, which is good. Another one is if you're doing a mind map, do words and pictures so that you're being creative with a mind map, not just words, and make it fun so that you remember things. So if you want to create something or write a book, Sue and I have been on the Channeling Your Book course, which has been fantastic, hasn't it, Sue?
Yeah, yeah,
They're really good. Really, really simple exercises Tom does as well. So if anyone wants me to email that to him, it was all free. I can email you the whole course because that's finished now. And the other thing is to focus is you can just do puzzles and things with your hands or your mind, and you'll find that when you stop thinking about trying to create something like write something down or remember something that you've forgotten, you start fiddling and doing other stuff, you will literally just have a download come in, or the word or the person that you're trying to remember will just pop into your head. So sometimes not thinking is the best way forward, and then you just allow the creativity to come to you. Then it's just another way of channeling, basically, which is pretty cool. I pulled these 3 cards for the group. I wanted to know whether anyone here was brave enough to look at one of these cards and decide it's for someone else in the group and what they see in it. It's just a game. This is again about you tuning in to something and who you feel drawn to giving the message to. So who wants to go?
Okay.
Okay, Valerie.
Then Sue, I don't know. So the owl, observe, for Faye. Why? So I saw the owl, and I'm not even sure that she likes those animals, but so I saw the animal first, and then I saw the heart, which is a light, and I think that represents Faye. You know, she can have a dark animal side, you know, she stays maybe sometimes recluse in a way, but the heart is beating in there and it's full of light and it's just waiting to expand or expanding. And then the message, loving eyes see all. Yeah, equanimity, I don't know what it means. See the truth, step back. Yeah, I think it's and I love and I know it's on 2 cards, but I love the Star of David as well. I didn't even see it in the first place.
That's that visionary stuff.
That was the first card out. I felt, oh, I like that immediately.
Oh.
I actually saw Val and the lion though.
I knew you were going to say that.
Sorry, I need peace and love.
Arr.
So Sue, do you want to go next? Thanks, Val. That was great.
Yeah, the first one that came to me really was the owl and for Val. I can't really sort of like say why, except that it, I don't know, sort of open and kind.
Lovely. Yeah.
I'll take that. Thank you.
And that feels moving. So you can feel when someone's bringing a message through that feels like something. So it's the beauty of the cards is just play with them because it's active channeling. That's how you do it. Someone else?
Well, I feel the elven ones for Pam. Like there's some sort of connection there, like almost like sort of nature spirits. That's what I'm getting, kind of like a
Pam's
scene.
excited.
Huh?
Pam's excited.
I am. I think that's lovely.
And also, like looking at the card, it has the same energy that I perceive in you, Pam, which is a very gentle energy.
Oh,
Gentle.
you obviously don't know me.
You have. There's a bit of a fiery Scot, but you have got gentle energy.
Oh, that's lovely.
That's lovely. Anyone else?
The cat of Mandy wants to speak. Don't you love a cat
Who's
like
the
this?
cat giving a message to?
Wants to eat the owl.
Oh, that's lovely. When I picked these cards, it was interesting because it is kind of what we're doing here. I mean, there's I don't know. There's 88 cards in this pack.
Heck is
That-
this? Is this
Absolutely beautiful. Rowena bought this.
Is it the
for me as
star
a
one?
gift.
Wow.
They're the Lemurian
Oh, lovely.
Star Child Oracle. They are absolutely the most beautiful cards I've ever owned. The pictures are so stunning that they feel emotional just looking at them. They're so beautiful. But this depicts us as a group as well, going into the kind of nature spirits and the subtle energies and that kind of more ethereal, higher vibration energy of looking at the gentleness in everything and that bringing that love through, and the observing the bigger picture, and actually all not co-creating, what's the right word, the lion there's with a lamb coexisting peacefully. And actually this is us breaking out of the old paradigm. So I looked at these and that's how it felt, and then when I looked up the meanings of them, that's more or less what it was saying for us. It's that coming into that new, learning to observe, and then bringing the energy forward of like the elven card there, which is really lovely. So again, use your cards, use all sorts of cards, it doesn't matter what they are. So then we're just going into looking at the elements, and even just looking at that picture just makes us all feel a certain way, doesn't it? And how important it is that we are in touch with the elements. In Body Talk, well, I know none of you guys have done that course yet with the elements, have you? Done 4-7? No. So I'm going to just do dipping in a little tiny on the outskirts of that, just so that you can all understand why the Chinese medicine and the elements are important and what they mean to us. Has anybody here done any of that kind of learning? Louise?
It's part of the book that I mentioned before, Cellular Awakening.
Yeah.
There's a little, just a few pages, so I'm not saying, but
Yeah,
it mentions all the elements and gives a brief understanding.
I'll have to find that bit in the book. And Louise, this is obviously part of your work.
Yeah, well, actually, I covered it in the nutrition years ago, but also in the kinesiology.
So this might be a bit basic for you, but it's a good way of even just having the basic stuff to recognize the cycles of things, okay, in yourself. And then when you're working with other people. So the elements, there are 2 basic cycles. There's a lot more to this, a lot more concordances to this. So the Sheng cycle is literally the going round in a circle from one to the other in a circle. And that is the nurturing, nourishing, they call the mother-son cycle, where one feeds the next or nourishes the next in order for that to, so water generates wood or nourishes wood, wood generates fire, fire generates earth, earth generates metal, metal generates water, and so on. So you can see how these all in a cycle of nature feed each other in order to exist. I don't know if any of you ever played the alchemy game where you join the elements together to make different elements. That's quite something I did when I was a kid. So it's all important that one thing or 2 things together make another thing, and this is how, you know, we're all made of the same things. The co-cycle is more of a control and destroy, so that's where the arrows come across the middle.
Right.
So you've got the wood controls or destroys the earth, or can in some ways, and the earth can destroy the water, and the water puts out the fire, and the fire can destroy metal or shape metal. So there's a control or destroying to that. So again, this is very simple. Now, if there's no control, then maintaining harmonious relationships can't work, and the endless cycle of birth, growth, death, rebirth, etc. is the cycle of life. It's necessary for things to fall apart, regrow, like for the earth to get scorched so you can have a load of new shoots grow up, and sometimes for things to get flooded. It's just nature's way of rebalancing itself. And of course we respond and react internally to all of these. We are part of nature, so we have to remember that. So when you're working with Chinese medicine in a more in-depth way, and what Louise does, and acupuncture and 5-element acupuncture, you are working on body types. Somebody might be more wood, or there might be more metal and stuff like that. So this is again a very small chart in the bigger picture of concordances. This is not even as big as the one we use in Body Talk. So if you think about things that support each other, you'd be going along in a line, and then things that control or destroy, you'd be skipping one, in order to see what works with what. So when this comes up in Body Talk, you're looking at what's either destroying or suffocating, or something that needs to come in to support something else. So like, for example, I've been having issues with my heart, so it could be that something needs to happen with the liver in order to strengthen that, maybe, so that my heart is not trying to work so hard when the liver's not detoxing what it should be. So in order to heal my heart, it could be that actually my liver needs to go first. For example, it's very simple. You can stop me if I'm talking utter nonsense, Louise. But you get what I mean, don't you? So there are ways of working with this, and it's worth looking this up. And even if you find a really basic way of learning some of about the elements, it's a good thing to learn, to have kind of in your tool bag, even the basic knowledge of this and how emotions push through. Fear can feed anger, or it can create shock. You know, there's all sorts of ways with working with how this works or not. So the only reason for showing you that is because we're going to go into meditation now, and I just want to bring in the elements for you to imagine in your mind. So we're going into the woods, or we're going by the water, and sometimes these can feel expansive, or sometimes they're contracting. It might be that there'd be things that, if you look on this chart, someone has heart issues, or someone struggles with their gallbladder, or if someone has bladder issues, you can kind of see that, you know, there needs to be a support system of all these other concordances here in order to support that. And that might be that, you know, you might need to add some stuff. It's a bit like Ayurveda, where you have to find out what feeds it and what actually you should kind of take out. So it's very basic. It was only just a quick touch in on that. So again, another beautiful nature scene. So meditation as a journey. These are all slides that I'll send to you separately so that you've got bullet points for you to go off and create your own stuff or completely do something different. But obviously I just wanted you to have something to work from if that's what you'd like. So creating healthy habits and triggers. So you've got to be training your brain. So deep sleep. So if you sleep deeply but you never dream, you could try the sleep patches, because that's quite good fun. Deep sleep is where your body will do most of its repairing, because it kind of switches off a lot of other systems and enables your body to heal fully. So it's worth trying to get into a pattern of sleeping if that's something you struggle with. Dreaming obviously brings through messages, downloads, all sorts of things. Having a bath. I know probably, Faye, you get loads of inspiring ideas when you're floating around in your daily bath.
Lots and lots. Good 5 hours a day.
Or walking out in nature, or just anything that kind of puts you in contact with something, either an element or something creative. Like some people might be working with candles, and fire might be something that they find easier to work with, healing energies. And you know, you have your own rituals around what works for you, basically. So find your own elements to work with and find your own kind of vessels of bringing through messages. You can pick a topic or a card or 3 to see what arrives through channeling. So you can think, what shall I teach for a meditation, and then just do some cards, and then you'll get some inspiration from the cards come up, and you'll be like, okay, yeah, we'll do that. Then you can ask your guides to come in and help. Ask for messages. They respond when you ask, and they don't come necessarily when you don't ask. So angels and guides, again, get into the habit of asking for them to come forward and actually help you in your intuition. So any topic you can create a meditation journey around. So if you've got a few beginnings and a few endings, then you can just slot any topic to teach or share with people in the middle of that. And it's that simple, basically. And again, have a few beginnings and a few endings, and have similar things that you do with people again and again as well, to create a neural pathway so the brain knows, oh, we know how we feel when we're here. And people get into the zone really quickly in that sense. And then you can make it all colourful and singing and dancing in the middle of it, and do a different exercise in the middle instead. All right. Yeah, so you have your preamble through the senses. You'd be tuning into your chakras if that's what you want to do, and then coming back slowly, you're gauging with your senses where people are at. So you're kind of watching and feeling people to see how you need to bring them back. If you've got people falling asleep, then ask them maybe to, like we've done recently, stare at a candle if they're prone to sleeping, or I raise my voice slightly and try and bring people back into the kind of present moment. If they've gone into a deep sleep and it's healing, then fine, doesn't matter. But sometimes people don't want to miss every single meditation that they take part in, so you can help people a little bit with that. Throughout all of your meditations, we're all healers, is to tune into your meditative channeled choice of healing and have that kind of active all the way through as well. So it's just practice. So I'm just going to take you through a little exercise now, a little meditation through your senses with the different elements. And I want you to just feel whether they feel expansive or contracting, or whether one feels more comforting than the other, just as an exercise. All right. So just settle your energy, knowing that you're grounded. You pop yourselves on mute for a minute. Just pay attention to your breathing. Just want you to breathe into your lungs with a relaxed body, so that when you breathe in, you're relaxed, and you're breathing out relaxed as well. So no tensing up when you're breathing in. Just fully aware of bringing energy into your lungs. And allowing that energy to move out to every cell in your body. Just engaging all of your senses. As we make our way through a ravine, there's grass, the earth beneath our feet. You can smell the grass and the earth. The sun's just starting to rise. And you're walking in towards some trees. And just walk over to a tree that you're drawn to. Just put your arms around the tree and see what it feels like to be in contact with that wood, with that tree. Feel if that energy feels healing for you, if there's something that you need from that wood element. Feel the strength in the tree when the tree is in its strength. Notice a tree next to this one that's not doing so well. There's some fungus growing on it. Let's go over and hug this tree instead. See how that feels. It's damp, too damp, and there's some mold. Send the tree some healing and move away from the tree. And I want you to go and find a really nice patch of grass, lush grass, little flowers, the earth beneath it. Just go and lay down, see how that feels. Now you roll over onto another piece of ground that's cracked and scorched by some fire. See what the life of that feels like. See how that ground feels. Just using your senses if it feels expansive, contracting, if it needs something, how that makes you feel. Send the earth some healing, and you get up and you wander over to some water. There's a beautiful lake. You can magic yourselves into your swimming cozy as you step into the water. The temperature's okay. It's nice and clear, and you just bob around in that water. And as you swim over, you start to see that the water is a bit murky and the colour's changed and it's colder. See how you feel in the water now. Is that water nourishing? Send some healing to the water as you make your way back through the clean water. And back out to a roaring campfire. Just go and sit round the campfire and get warm. As you sit there, you fall asleep, you lay down, you fall asleep. And you've slept there for too long and you suddenly wake up too hot and you feel faint and a bit sick and giddy. And it's time to move away from the fire. And then when you're ready, just bring yourselves back into the room. Take yourselves off mute. So can you just see, I mean, it's a very simple exercise, just how you can create scenarios that feel nice and how suddenly they might not be, and that some people might be scared of fire, or some people might be scared of water, or they might have had a disease from water, or they might suffer with too much damp in their intestines, for example. It's all about bringing balance back. So when we, a few years ago, when we got together as a group, a few of us started getting Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man popping up all over the place, and it was about trying to channel through and tell us that we were all out of balance and the earth was out of balance, and really something's coming, and then wham, this happened. So it is the Vitruvian Man. You all know what that is, don't you? So the Vitruvian Man, Mandy, is the actually I've got a picture, I'll show you. Here, this man here.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So everything in balance.
Right.
And all the sacred geometry is all about life, and we have all those patterns and stuff within us. So it was really all about telling us about balance and how we need to be looking at how nature behaves, and that there's a growth and birth and death cycle to everything, and that we all need to get back into kind of the respect and see how all the little animals work in harmony with that, and how very far away we've got from all of that, and some of the practices that we kind of have going on in our lives, not necessarily us guys so much, but corporations and stuff. So when you're choosing to shop, for example, you could buy local produce, you could go to a local beekeeper for your honey, you could try and live with your immediate environment if there's things that have been made in your own area. If people suffer with hay fever and stuff, it's better to eat from your own environment. It's better to get local honey and start eating that in the winter. So all sorts of things that you can do just to get in tune, even just to sit and watch how the animals behave in the garden and how they're all going about their business, is nicer than some of the other stuff that we're kind of tuned into. So does anyone want to share how they felt in different scenarios in just with the elements there? Valerie?
With the tree, it's funny because I went from a really big tree that gave me a lot of warmth and a lot of love, and I literally had a little cuddle, with the tree, and I was, leaning against it, like, oh, it feels nice. And then when you said there was another tree, then I immediately went to a tiny one that was growing but struggling, and it's as if the heat and the love that I received from the big tree was actually, part of it was for me, but the other half was for me to transfer back to this tree that was struggling. And I really like this concept because that's what trees do through their roots anyway.
Yeah.
So I love the transfer of energy.
Yeah, I've got a book about how trees communicate, and it's just brilliant. And their vibrations, it's like talking. They did an experiment in Spain where they put some kind of nodes into a plant, and they played a sound on a synthesizer, and they connected these nodes up to a circle of trees, and then didn't play a sound, and the vibration of the trees played the sound back. It's incredible. And I saved it somewhere and I can't find it. It's so interesting. It's so simple but really clever. So the vibration can also kind of mimic. So it just shows us that these things are alive, and some trees are 1,000 years old or more. There's a tree in Bath. Or actually no, it's Bradford upon Avon, near a keep where there's an old stone building that's half down, but that tree there is over 1,000 years old and it's massive. And just being near it, you're just like, crikey, you can see the landscape in your mind whiz by of what that tree's seen, all the different types of people, the buildings, all the wars and fighting, and then beauty and other things just changing around this tree that's stood there for that long is incredible. So getting in contact with the trees is important. Pam?
Yeah, I don't feel vibrations from trees, but I do feel very supported when I lean against a tree or visualize myself leaning against a tree. In fact, I've just had a tree that had honey fungus in it in the garden taken down, but not completely, because I wanted to leave the top of the tree so I can feed the birds. And it's quite nice that that tree still has some life in the garden, if you like, even though that it was effectively dying. But now it's a sort of feeding station, so that's quite nice. The water doesn't do it for me at all, especially if you'd said this the ocean, I'd have been all over it. But the lake, all I could think was hard stones on the bottom, cold. No, didn't go for that at all. I loved the fire, loved the notion of the fire and lying on the ground. I'm very much a soily sort of person. I like getting into the ground, so I liked. I really feel the vibration of the earth when I lie on the grass. So that was nice. Yeah, I like that. I like that whole notion.
You can feel how different elements for people feel different
Yeah.
So, you know, working with them with other people, you know, you'll find that some people like stuff and some don't, and how it feeds us. There's nothing nicer than sitting on the ground with your back against a big old tree. The little creatures crawling around. It's busy, isn't it?
I love to observe all the little things going on around, all the little hoverflies and what the birds are doing and so on. It's lovely.
So more of that, and that again raises your vibration. And again, if you want to channel or anything, and it helps people in a feeling of something, or if it's something that needs nurturing because it's not so well, or if somebody is scared of water, for example, to try and bring some healing around that and make that a nice kind of experience. But even just visualizing it feels nice, even without doing the actual thing. So
the water for me was really good. The water was like really clear, and it was lovely warm, and I was swimming through it. And but then when you said
I spoiled it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, it made a huge impact. It was like, oh, and then I was shivering, and you know, in a horrible place. So yeah, a big difference.
It's amazing how quickly, so when something's not nourished and it's not fed, and we've got that within us, if we're not nourishing our system properly, then we're getting out of whack, and that's not going to feel nice as a vibration inside. So we can see that externally everywhere, can't we? So yeah, thank you, Sue. I really connect with the water as well, like the fire too. Really drawn to the flames. Anyone else?
For me, it was the trees. Definitely, you know, I love hanging out with the trees. I could spend my hours, my days just hanging out with the trees. So that definitely for me. And actually, when you were talking about the one that was all sort of damp and fungusy and all the rest of it, I was just feeling, I felt a bit sad for it.
Yeah. I wanted to go and help it.
Yeah, just, you know, the energy seemed a bit weaker, and I was just like, oh, it's a bit sad, really. But yeah, the trees definitely were my favourite.
And I guess when you're working with the elements in your job with people, you understand the emotions that go with somebody who's got too much. Is it damp with wood?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you get damp.
Is it damp?
No, you've got wood, earth, water. No, it's not wood. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I get confused with them. That's wind.
Yeah.
But it could be damp and wind, really, can't it? Depending on what's going on, because it's just the mixing of the elements again, and how something's not supporting it because something else has come in and infiltrated. So that is the getting out of balance with other elements, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's always nice to create visuals. It's always nice to see how you feel in certain situations, and then how you feel about something that looks a bit poorly that could be going on for you. Or if there's a system, if you look at a bigger concordance of the 5 element way of healing, you can recognize issues in your own body and see where that's maybe not being nourished by the concordance before, and maybe need to look at that before this will be able to heal, to bring some strength, or where one thing is taken over another. So it's just something you can all go off and play in that now. Just something else for you to busy your minds with. Okay, so I'm going to take you on a journey, and this is going to be group healing for each other. So I'm going to give you all a person that you're going to heal in a circle. So what we'll do is I'll explain it first. We'll ground like I normally do, tune into the ascension chakras, connect up and protect, and then choose whatever mode of healing that you do and just connect in to that, bring the energies in of that. The Rahani practitioners, and if you're not as well, you can still tune into the 6-pointed star, because that's Christ consciousness and it brings its own protection with that. Call in your guides, ask them to come and hang out with us and help with the healing and bring messages. And for this exercise, I'll give you someone to work on, so it goes round in a circle with your guides either side of you. So set the intention to call in 2 guides. So that could be an archangel, ascended master, an animal guide, an elemental, a dragon, whatever you want. If you can't think of one, just make it up and have 2 that stand either side of you. And they'll be in between kind of all of us, helping the healing and the messages go round. I'll be in the middle with my energy and the guides, transferring healing out to each of you as well, and actually guiding you through the meditation. I'll change the scenery so that I'll be changing the elements that are in the meditation, just to see what else pops up to channel through. And I want you to observe what arrives for the other person that you're healing. So if they get a message or a gift or a person turn up, don't overthink it. I just want the first thing that comes into your head. If you want to grab a bit of paper and a pen to quickly open your eyes and scribble something down and then get back into the meditation, then do. And I don't want you to think about it. If you're not getting anything, don't overthink it. Just allow the things to turn up or not. Is that easy to understand? I'm going to talk you through it anyway. Everyone all right with that?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so when you're ready, pop yourselves on mute. So we're going to have Pam, you are healing Sue. So in a minute, I'm going to get you to visualize everybody in a circle. Sue, you're healing Mandy. Mandy, you're healing Louise. Louise, you're healing Faye. Still want to say Jess Nunn. And Valerie, you are healing Pam. So Pam's healing Sue, Sue is healing Mandy, Mandy is healing Louise, Louise is healing Faye, Faye is healing Val, Val, you're healing Pam, all right? Okie dokie. Right, is everybody on mute? So just take a nice couple of relaxed deep breaths. I'm just going to put some music on in the background. Can you hear that all right? Can you hear me all right? Yeah? Okay. So just imagine you've got roots growing out the bottom of your feet. Pushing deep down into the earth. Wrapping it around the earth star chakra. Just knowing that your energies are connected to the earth, you're grounded. The earth's energy, keeping your energy safe and protected. Keeping you anchored as we go on a journey. We just connect into the ascension chakras, so the earth star, the base, Just allowing the senses to sense or feel, or whatever colour comes up for you. Don't worry too much about the colours. The sacral, the navel chakra, the solar plexus, the heart chakra, your throat chakra, your third eye, crown, a bit behind your head and above is the causal chakra. Higher still, the soul star. And further into the stellar gateway. And connecting that up to the six-pointed star, Christ consciousness. A connection and a channel of light. All the colours of the ascension chakras swirling around. Mixing in with the violet flame, coming through and cleansing and transmuting any energies that are not for you. Archangel Michael cutting cords, sealing the ends. You're surrounded in a giant golden bubble, the light of the Christ consciousness source. Tune into your mode of healing. So if it's Rahani, we're saying Rahani, Rahani, Rahani 3 times. And your six-pointed star on the palms of your hands. Ask your guides to step forward now. Just the first guides that pop into your mind. And they join us now walking through a valley. There's trees on either side. Just making your way into the trees. All of us together with our guides, and we come to a beautiful open space in a circle of trees. A clearing where we're all joined in a circle. The sun is setting. And seeing you all in a circle together, Pam, Sue, Mandy, Lou, Faye, and Val next to Pam, and all of your guides in between. Just visualize me standing in the middle with Archangel Michael and Mary Magdalene. Feel the earth beneath your feet. The energy from the earth and the grass and all the little plants And the smells all around you of the woodlands. Call in your energy, your healing energy now, and focus that healing in the person chosen. Bringing that energy down through your chakras, out through your heart space, through your hands. Just observing the colours, feeling, sensation. Don't worry about what turns up or not. Observing the person. Asking your guides to assist us. Calling in the elements of the earth to assist us in our healing. Just noticing now as the day cools down, there's a beautiful fire in the middle, bringing some warmth and adding to the healing. Just focusing on what comes up with your healing for the person. You notice a brook, a stream that's just meandering through the woods. We can hear the sound of the water. There's a few things glistening, maybe some precious stones or precious metals to be found, being turned over by the water, moving by, bringing the earth up. It's the element of metal as well, how we use tools in our life, and all our beautiful, shiny, sparkly things that we all love. Maybe there's a gift for somebody. Just now feel the energy of the trees joining in with our healing, holding that space, communicating with each other and with us and our guides, assisting with that healing. Ask for a message for that person. Just observing what's coming up as you channel that healing, paying attention to that channeling. See if there's anything that needs to leave. We can ask Archangel Michael to assist. Bring in strength. To where people need it. Or noticing their strengths as you do their healing. Just have an awareness now to which elements you're visualizing in this moment, where you are in your mind with that healing. How you're seeing that person. Tune into each of your senses, see if anything else turns up. What can you feel? Is there a smell or a taste? Is there a sound? Is there a colour? If you could see their aura, what colours would it be? Whatever pops into your head first. And now just see us all in a circle together, drawing your energies back to yourself. Balancing into your heart energy. Just ask now the name of your guides, so whatever names pop into your head. Even if it feels like you're making it up. And thank them for coming. And make your way back from the woods, back up through the valley, and back into the space that you're in. Is everyone awake? And take yourselves off mute now. Did you stay awake, everyone?
Mhm.
Good. Right, so messages. So I'm going to pick on somebody first. Valerie's ready. Go on, Val. I always pick on you, don't I? So I know you're confident.
So the message I received for Pam was trust and believe that all is well. Should I go with the rest of the stuff, or?
Yeah, go for it.
During the healing, it was mainly grounding and on your shoulders, and then there was discomfort in your left jaw, like some tension that cleared. Then it was fire, the element, and it made you feel warm and comforted. Then your aura was indigo.
Wow.
And the final one was white eagle turning up.
Lovely. Thank you, Valerie.
He actually turned up before
Amazing.
you invited the guides, but
Already come in.
he was already there, yeah.
He's the keeper of the star. The White Brotherhood. Thank you, Valerie. Pam?
Okay, my guides were Metatron and a Native American. I couldn't get a name for it, and I didn't try too hard because I thought if it doesn't come, I'm just going to make up some rubbish. And the Native American sent Sue like, it was like feathers in the wind catching the thermals, and it was about allow your free spirit to come to the fore, sort of release, and yeah, it was all about sort of being a free spirit. And Metatron gave her a flower bulb, and he was saying that your this spiritual self has been in, because you don't know what a bulb's like. It's got the flower inside it, but it's hidden, and this spiritual flower has been hidden inside Sue, and it's beginning to grow now. And so to let her bulb, let her spiritual bulb. Your aura was purple, actually, and the element I think was fire. Mm-hmm. That's what sort of came to my mind. Yeah, that was it.
Thank you.
So then we've got Sue. You were hearing Mandy.
I was. And Mandy, message for you was to go slow and wait, and you are loved.
Oh,
Um,
thank you.
and I felt really sort of quite a big connection actually, that it was like you really kind of really needed this, you know, I wanted. And the element was fire. It sort of lit you up actually. So you and the colour was orange. You know, although your aura, when it came to it, when Suzanne said, you know, think of the aura, was yellow, and sort of yellow and kind of sort of blended into green, so yellowy green.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's lovely. Thank you. Yeah.
So Mandy was healing Louise.
Yeah. So Louise, I got lots and lots, but it was, well, the people that were helping was a unicorn called Charlie, and a dragon called Henry.
Wow.
And Henry's a dragon that I have with me quite a lot, and so and then this sort of, I would say, ET type guide came, and on a throne, and was quite magnificent actually, and he was there to help heal, and I felt there was particular stuff in Lou's left elbow and her right ankle, with when we were getting Archangel Michael to cut the cords, it felt like he went all the way along both sides of Lou's spine, and just sort of let go of any little bits of grit and sort of misalignments all the way along, and then he sealed her back up again and cleared all that. So that was lovely. And also the left side of the brain, I just felt was quite hot. I don't know if that was me or her, but it felt quite hot. The gift was a ring, and it was a beautiful ring with a sapphire in the middle and sort of very nice sort of four little sort of flickery things out from the stone in the middle. The words were, "You are beautiful."
Oh.
And so that was lovely, and I felt the element was fire, and yes, it was really lovely. I really enjoyed doing that. So and I'm sure there was more, but oh yes, your aura was and there was stuff at the throat as well. I wasn't sure about the throat, but the colour was like hyacinth blue, and that sort of vibrant blue, and the smell was hyacinth as well.
I love that.
Yeah, so that was, I think that's
Lovely.
Yeah,
I feel quite emotional listening to all of these.
I was keeping up. I was just about keeping up.
Lovely, Mandy. Thank you.
Okay.
And Louise, you were healing Faye.
So, well, when you said you were going to call the guides in before we even started the meditation, I knew that because I've got two dragons that I work with, and one of them was already kind of around, and so one of my dragons turned up, and I've got a horse as well that comes in. So I had a dragon and a horse on each side, and Faye, you had a lot of pink and yellow swirling light around you, sort of emanating particularly from your heart and your solar plexus. So while I was actually doing this and while this was going on, I was looking down, and to your right hand side at the bottom, there was like a little being tugging at your like almost like you were wearing a skirt and there was something tugging at your skirt, and I was saying to it, what are you doing? And he was saying to me, well, I'm trying to get Faye's attention. I was like, well, what is it you want to say? And I just said, you know, are you of the highest vibration? And he kind of went and then shut off, and I was like, okay, right, we'll just carry on what we were doing. But the element was very ground. It was the earth, and it seemed like there was a lot of nurturing and grounding coming in for you. And there was also a little old lady in a rocking chair, who, when you asked what the gift was, she handed me a pendant, which looked either like an angel wing or like a feather. And the message that I got was, "We are with you."
Oh, that's nice. That's lovely. Thank you. That's brilliant. These are really good. Thanks, Lou. And last but not least, Jess Nunn.
I think her night's really boring compared to ours.
No, it won't be.
So funny, a few things in that already. At the start, there was a lot of energy and I was pulled in different ways, and I wasn't sure. I could see almost across the circle everybody, so I wasn't focused in on feeling Lou at first, and I wasn't focused in on Val at first. And I did see the unicorn. I wrote down unicorn, but that wasn't mine. I was like distracted almost. And then it took me a bit, like, I don't know, 30 seconds or something to kind of find my feet. And funny you should mention this like little bugger trying to pull at me. Yesterday, I didn't clear the flat because it wasn't a bad energy, but there was something darting around, and I did a kind of half-assed go away.
It wasn't dark. It wasn't like really nasty. He was just
like a child,
like very sort of, yeah,
like a 6-year-old boy.
Yeah,
him. So he didn't go yesterday. I didn't think so, but I was quite tired, so that's not. Oh, and then when it started, I think it was your energy, because then I got something else for Val, because the pink is the color I see when I'm with my aura, but I don't know if that's right or not, but that's just the color I feel, which is unlike me for pink, so maybe it is. And when it started, my face went really hot, because it was like it was a lot of energy from everyone. I think it was quite a lot. But my left ear was throbbing, like really throbbing. And then at one point, like both of them started like going like beep a little bit, and then it went back to my left again, and I had a headache on like up here. Dry mouth at the end. Yeah, like you can even see on my notes, like I wrote down like pink, kid, throbbing left ear. Oh, there was a smell of frankincense.
Okay, was that for Valerie?
Oh, yeah, for Val, sorry. For Val, I got like a black and white cat.
Oh.
For some reason.
Infiltrator.
Her aura felt like I kept getting like it was a bit unclear, but like something to do with lights, and like this sounds really weird, but twinkle little star kept coming up.
Okay.
I have no idea why, Val. I don't know why. You got a message. It was always remember you are loved. That came through. There was a lot of gold and orange, and it was like I drew it like this, like a wave. For some reason, yeah, I don't know if, again, guides. I got the names, Sarah and Ruth. I don't know if that's anything at all.
There's people I know.
Valerie's.
Yeah, they're people I know. But
honestly, it was like there was quite a lot going on, and I don't know how well I tuned into you, to be honest. But yeah, there was a lot. So Sarah and Ruth came through. Oh, element wise, you got like it was very much earthy and trees, but you had just been talking about trees, so I don't know if that was that.
But if that came in first, then that. Yeah.
But I was also like, it also felt like there was a little bit of like a layer that I couldn't get through. Like, so I just left it.
That's
That'd be-
lovely.
Yeah.
What a great excellent. I've run over by 5 minutes. You're all right for 5 minutes, just so that I can finish.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
So while I was tuning in, I was just holding the space to start with, and then I found myself joining in. So I got a gift for everybody. So I'd like to give you your gifts before we finish. So Valerie, you had a crystal ankh. So I thought it was a diamond to start with, but it was like a clear quartz ankh, you know,
Yeah. I don't own one, but that's one
No,
of my
I think
projects.
that, yeah, that you want to. There's one trying to come to you, basically. So I think you will have one of those. I also think Pam's quite drawn to the ankh as well.
On tonight.
Oh, you've got one. Oh, wow.
Is it the one that you got from Tim Wilde?
It is. It's a citrine one. Yeah.
How lovely.
Funny, I thought about that this week, about you buying it.
Oh, right.
What's the meaning, Pam?
Well, it's an Egyptian key, I think. Through various sources, I think I've come originally. I've been an Atlantean who has escaped Atlantis by way of Egypt, because Tim Wilde did a meditation, at least a year ago, about unlocking your Atlantean blue collar, and I really felt like I was doing that, and he was using the ankh. But anyway, this particular ankh, he said it's a happy the citrine's a very happy crystal, and he has meditated on it and, you know, incorporated all sorts of lovely things in it. Yeah.
Lovely. So there's one for you somewhere, Valerie.
Cool.
I think citrine is about abundance as well.
Oh, is it? Oh, good.
Good girl.
Never harms a bit of abundance.
So Faye, there's a silver coin that's a bit bashed up. It's an old coin from the days of King Arthur and Merlin. It's like a magic silver coin somewhere, which either you've got or you'll find. There's a coin trying to find you. Louise, you were surrounded by elementals, all the little fairies and nature spirits, and like in a whole ring of poppies and pansies, just like this little flower ring with all these little fairies running all around you and you joining in. It's like you became their size and you were literally in your element in that energy. That suits you very much. We just get a tissue, getting it all moved by your stuff.
I'm very happy hanging out with the fairies and the elementals.
Pardon?
So I'm very happy hanging out with the fairies and the elementals.
Yeah, and you love your garden and you're probably out there with them all the time, aren't you?
Yeah.
Mandy, I could see you in a fairy garden as well, like making a little fairy circle somehow.
Yeah. Lovely.
And Sue, a stone circle, but made out of crystals. So it wasn't a grid as such. It was more, yeah, it was more like solid stones. Now, obviously, you're not going to put precious crystals out in your garden and make a stone circle. But you can make stone circles out of rocks and stuff and then bury a smaller crystal in with the rock, and they will take on the energy of that crystal. So you have a stone circle of whichever kind of crystals you want in that. I could just see you in the kind of middle of it, just in that energy in your element, just thinking, oh, this just feels nice in here. Rowena's got a stone circle in her garden, actually. So she kind of, you know, you can make your own little Stonehenge.
Thank you.
And Pam, you had little seedlings coming up that you were nurturing.
I'm always doing
And
that.
you just, again, the elementals were there enjoying you planting and bringing things to life for them to play with and hang out in and be part of, really. So it was all very kind of nature based. I could see that the elementals were all round the circle during the healing. It was like everybody turned up. It's like, oh, this is nice. Especially as we brought in all the different elements, every single elemental for every single one of those turned up. So salamanders playing about in the fire and dragons and all sorts of things flying around. So I had to ground myself at one point and open my eyes. So yeah, that was lovely. So let me just see. Where are we?
Can I just say quickly, I
Yes.
forgot to tell Pam what present she received. So initially I thought it was a bracelet, but in the end you took it and you put it at your ankle, so it was an anklet. So I don't see you as an anklet type of person, but that was an anklet for your ankle.
So maybe the earthing card she's going to strap around her ankles.
Yes. As long as,
With
it's
tape.
not as long as it's not an ASBO thing.
It's a tag.
Yeah.
How funny. These are just some other nice things and how the earth heals me. It's just nice pictures. I'm going to send this to you anyway so you can look at, and how it's necessary to have both sides of the brain function. And of course you don't always just do right or left, they cross over and you need all these skills, but in order to kind of channel and be more intuitive, you have to get into the more of the creative tunes and visualizing the feelings and senses, really, to bring all that up. We spend a lot of the day, some of us, in our work, for example, doing too many linear analytical kind of things, not so much with us with being therapists and stuff, but a lot of people do. I just put the Vitruvian Man there because it's kind of for some of us where he kept popping up a few years ago when we started with our meditation circle. That's a little heart to say thank you for coming with me on my first online little
Thank you.
courselet.
Thank you.
And then if you wouldn't mind, and you don't have to if you want to, just a little bit of a testimonial maybe or something so that I can use some, you don't have to put your name on it if you don't want to, some feedback, you know, things that you particularly enjoyed maybe and that I could share if I'm going to put another 6 weeks on for a different group of people. Just be good to know, really. And that's it. Off and fly.
I was going to say, Suzanne, for your website as well, maybe like a video testimonial.
Oh yeah.
Just as it's in my mind.
Right. Faye's doing my website for me, so that's quite exciting.
But maybe like, yeah, if you could like just do a little filmed, like just like 10-15 seconds of what you enjoyed or something. That would, because then you can put it on the site, scroll along.
They're mostly all scared now.
Oh yeah. Got into work mode there. Something about the left hand side of your brain.
Valerie's all Valerie would be one. I know you're brave. I'm not saying the rest of you aren't brave, by the way, but I know what, like Louise, I know that you're like a rabbit in the headlights when you get on a video. Turn it off. Might make you do it.
You want to do it now? Or I can record something and send it to you. I don't mind. Or
Thank
even
you.
next time we're on a Zoom call, we take a few seconds for the testimonial,
That would be
so
lovely.
that I can look back at all the different things that we've done, because we've covered so much. So I want to maybe emphasize on a couple of things.
Squeezed in quite a lot in 5 weeks, and then Cherry did one as well. And actually a little bit of feedback for Cherry might be quite nice because she's popping up online a little bit more now as well, which is lovely. She's learning technology, which is really helped her. She's got on Telegram and got herself a new app, and she's trying to learn how to do Facebook. So it's good. We can all do it. So that'd be lovely. And thank you so much. I've really, really, really enjoyed this. And I'm happy to do monthly meditations like we were before. And Mandy, you weren't part of that group, and Faye, but you're, you know, I'd love for you to come along if you want to.
Yeah,
we do.
lovely. Thank you.
And actually at some point it would be nice for some of you to want to do a meditation in the group for practice if you want to.
Might be brave.
So, and when you're in a group of people that you're familiar with as well, and that everybody's comfortable, it's easier to do that then as well, isn't it? But that's, again, it's no pressure. Let's just play it by ear. All right. I've kept you all long enough now. Gone 15 minutes over. And I will see you all online. And I'll pop a date in. Is a Wednesday night still good if I do a meditation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
night. Okay. So I'll pop a date up for the meditation. And that's coming up next. All right. I'll probably fit it into a week in between when we do the Monday talks.
That's
So
good.
it's not on the same week. It's easier for me and you then.
Yeah.
All righty. Thanks, ladies.
Thanks so
If
much.
there's anything else to add that pops up that you've messages for somebody, just put it in the Soul Solutions Telegram groupage. Not Soul Solutions. Soul Frequencies, our page. Not the
Workshop.
the workshop page. Thanks, Sue. Too many things called the same thing. All right, take care. I'll see you all
And you.
soon.
Thanks.
Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.